In 1924, the Monroe News-Star newspaper commented that Pirates Alley behind the Capitol was another interesting spot, and on the walls of the courtyard, where pirates and other prisoners were lined up and shot, may still be seen holes where bullets were embedded. In reality, it is unlikely that any executions took place behind the old Capuzzo. Executions were done in Jackson Square, the old Palace des Armes, or within the interior courtyard of the Cabildo itself. Nevertheless, the Capuzzo was certainly held a famous prison or two before it was demolished in 1837. St. Anthony's Garden behind the cathedral was originally a burial ground. Soon enough, it was decided that more space is needed, and many of the bones were exhumed and reinterred in St. Louis Cemetery No. 1 on Basin Street. Just as many bones were lost or never moved, however. A garden was then intended for the plot of land, but its purpose quickly took a new turn. For a period of nearly 50 years, the space that is known as St. Anthony's Garden, or the Cathedral Garden, was actually a designated location for illegal, deadly duels only during Civil War days, when duels fell into devastation and disfavor. This was the site made into the garden it was intended to be. Between St. Louis Cathedral and Pirates Alley Cafe, an absinthe house, there is only a 14-foot difference. The ghost of Pirates Alley, the ghost of Faulkner House Books. One of the most historic locations on Pirates Alley is the Faulkner House Books store, located right in the middle of Pirates Alley. The bookstore was once home to William Faulkner. Faulkner slayed in New Orleans in the 1920s. He even stayed and wrote for his first novel, entitled Soldier's Pay, while staying in the house. It is rumored that the ghost of William Faulkner still resides in this house. There have been many reports of people seeing the ghost of Faulkner still sitting at the writing desk, which is located in the store. In addition, ghostly smells of pipe smoke can be smelled wailing through the bookstore. It is well known that Faulkner liked to smoke a pipe while he wrote. And this apparition of William Faulkner, or someone else, and our ghost, we implore you to visit this very, very nice bookstore. I personally have reached out to the bookstore via email, and they were very kind in giving information. So thank you very much to Williams Faulkner Books, the store, and the legacy. And of course, with Pirates Alley comes the legend of Jean Lafitte. Jean Lafitte himself, the pirate, was never imprisoned. His brother Pierre certainly was. In 1814, in the final days leading up to the Battle of New Orleans, during the War of 1912, it is said that Jean Lafitte negotiated his brother's escape from prison with General Andrew Jackson along Pirates Alley. In exchange for Pierre's release, Jean Lafitte agreed to end General Jackson in the fight against the British. Legend has it that without the pirates Jean Lafitte provided for the American military, General Andrew Jackson would never have triumphed during the four-part battle in the winter of 1815. But did Jean Lafitte really operate out of Pirates Alley? The legends say yes. The romantic and fantastical ring to it. Over the years, there have been many attempts to argue that Lafitte and his pirate brethren operated a base in the alley along St. Louis Cathedral. Some people have even claimed that the fence enclosing St. Anthony's Garden behind the cathedral was once a place where the pirates sold bootlegged goods to the citizens of New Orleans. While it is possible that this occurred, there is no historic evidence that proves it. Jean Lafitte's quick wit and savviness is legendary. and so it seems rather implausible, and he would choose to conduct his business in any way in that alley that was bracketed not only by the church, but also by the government building and the old parish prison. So although it is quite fun to think that Pirates Alley has earned its name from the infamous pirate Jean Lafitte, that slice of history is probably nothing but a tall tale. However, it must have been enticing enough. In 1925, the famous novelist William Faulkner moved into the second floor on 624 Pirates Alley. It is said that he was lured in by the tales of Jean Lafitte and his interactions with General Andrew Jackson, but also by haunted tales told by the old parish prison or the Calabozo. Many people are reported seeing the ghost of Jean Lafitte walking up and down Pirates Alley. Is it really him? Another legend states it is not actually Lafitte's apparition, which is spotted in the early mornings, but another by the name of Reginald Hicks. As the story goes, Hicks was traveling on a ship in the Atlantic when the vessel was captured and ransacked by pirates. He was just a boy, and the pirates opted to take him with them and raise him. By the time of the War of 1812, Hicks had become a strapping first mate aboard a pirate ship. And allegedly, Hicks was one of the men to travel with Lafitte to go meet Andrew Jackson. It was during his time in New Orleans that he had the opportunity to meet Marie-Angèle Beauchamp, a beautiful French Creole girl. They fell desperately in love, but all too soon they discovered she was pregnant with child. Hicks refused to have his child be labeled illegitimate, and he and Marie immediately sought out a priest to marry them. But they had limited time. The war was rapidly approaching. They could only think of a German minister that was, interestingly enough, doing time in the old parish prison. Hicks and Marie begged the prison guard to let them in. Although they were married, the German minister was forced to do this by the iron gates along Pirates Alley. Their marriage was officiated by the church, and papers are drawn at the Cabildo. But what happened to Hicks after? It is thought that he was killed during a war, leaving his beloved Marie a widow so early into their marriage. Today, many couples choose to get married in Pirates Alley, just as Reginald Hicks did. But his ghost? It is said that Hicks' spirit still haunts Pirates Alley. Early in the morning, people have reported hearing wedding bells and the sounds of ghostly laughter, even as the alley is completely empty. One has to wonder, is it the pirate Hicks? And if so, is he still searching for his wife, even after death? In the early colonization period, a Capuchin monk, Pierre d'Auberge, arrived in the recently settled New Orleans as a pastor at St. Louis Cathedral, then St. Louis Church. Father d'Auberge was a joyous man who quite loved by the congregation. However, when Louisiana was given to Spain, the French in the city began to revolt. After Bloody O'Reilly executed the Frenchmen who had rebelled, he refused to allow the men to be properly buried, as Catholic doctrine dictated. Father d'Auberge refused to allow this to happen to the men. In the middle of the night, Father d'Auberge, along with the help of 2 other priests, obtained the bodies of the dead Frenchmen. They held a proper, though secret, burial at St. Louis Church, before interring the dead in St. Louis Cemetery No. 1. Whether the Spanish governor and Bloody O'Reilly ever discovered this treason is unknown. But it is safe to say that Father d'Auberge is still watching out for those around his old stomping grounds, or his ghost is, perhaps. People have reported hearing ghostly singing within the cathedral, but also along Pirates Alley too. The disembodied voice of a male has been reported in the same area, but don't worry. The Father's ghost is friendly, just as the man was himself. When you look at a haunted location, one of the first that come to mind is, Why is this place haunted? Is it the traumatic events that happened? Who are the souls attached to this property? These questions, when answered, can help you start to unravel the mystery and further delve into the mystery of who might be haunting a location. One of the old prisons in New Orleans was located along Pirates Alley. While researching the prison on Pirates Alley, many ghost stories were told by prisoners. The stories and folklore of ghosts and hauntings in Pirates Alley and the surrounding buildings is rampant. New Orleans does have the reputation for the most haunted city in the country. I highly recommend taking a stroll around Jackson Square, going into the cathedral, the museums nearby, the Cabildo. Get yourself a glass of absinthe at the Pirate Cafe. Stroll through Pirates Alley. Enjoy the garden. The beautiful art that people sell along Royal Street. Visit Faulkner House Books as well. You will even find a marker for the old prison outside of Faulkner House Books. I'd like to thank NOLAGhostTours.com, NOLA.com, and research in making this episode. And thank you again for joining me in the wicked webs we weave. I am your host, Ryan Mckern. Please like, share, comment below with what you would like to hear me cover on a future episode. I'll have a shot of rum and a Cuban cigar for you, and toast to the pirate lore that still circulates in New Orleans and beyond to this day. Au revoir.